Here we have a group of peppers for a very interesting and in vogue variety. This is the Ministry of Agriculture MOA Scotch Bonnet from Jamaica, and these were sent to me by Jamison, seeds from Steve, who originally got the seeds from the Jamaican Ministry of Agriculture. And these are the first ones that I've seen in the flesh. I have seeds and they're on my grow list for next year, but this is a variety of the MOAs that Jamison sent me. It's very kind of him. And you see there's a little bit of variation. Now, this is the one that we're calling a perfect phenotype. I say we, I'm not part of that, but is being called the perfect phenotype. So it's very much Scotch bonnet. Very much the Scotch bonnet archetype. Four lobes at the bottom, but it's pretty much what you'd really want to see if you were growing Scotch bonnets. It's a great one. But all of these peppers came from the MOA seeds. These are all MOA Scotch bonnets, so some of them are a little different. For instance, this one is slightly deformed. You can still see the four lobes at the bottom, but it hasn't really formed the bonnet in the same way. This one's pretty good. Sort of squash. Looks like a summer squash from the top and four lobe bottom. That one's pretty good. This one's slightly different. More like a bell. And this one's just a little bit more bulbous at the bottom, but again, this one's just a bit more bulbous, so, but you know, it's very similar. Very Scotch bonnety. But this is the one that I think most people are trying to get. Most people are trying to keep seeds for this one to maintain this sort of shape. So this is what your Minister of Agriculture Scotch bonnet should look like. But it's very cool. So there we go. Jamaican Ministry of Agriculture, or MOA Scotch bonnet. So I guess I've got to eat the perfect phenotype. So this is the one. Let's just hack this one open and see what this one's like. Okay, so this is the one that's the desired phenotype. Let's just hack it open and have a look. So straight away there's an extremely strong Scotch bonnet smell. Doesn't smell especially fruity. It's yeah, it's very much that Scotch bonnety smell. You know, the chinense smell that's clean but slightly different in Scotch bonnets. It's very hard to put into words, but it's a pretty dense pepper. They're quite heavy. And they're quite thick-walled. You know, if you just look over here, you see they're quite thick-walled peppers, and they grow up into themselves like Scotch bonnets should. The smell is really quite incredible. There are what seem to be small little dots of capsaicin oil just there. You see those little shiny bits on the placenta? So maybe it's going to be quite hot. We shall see. Hi, Nigel Carter again, here in the kitchen, and you've seen in the little preamble I have these beasts. The Jamaican Ministry of Agriculture Scotch Bonnet. So this is the one that I showed you that has the desired phenotype, and it couldn't look anything more like a Scotch bonnet if you drew it out and brought it out of thin air somehow. And it has a very pungent aroma. I said it wasn't fruity earlier. It isn't really, but it's a little acidic in that it's maybe slightly lemon limey. But it's really nice. I mean, I love Scotch bonnets anyway. They're real fantastic peppers, and I feel quite privileged to be able to eat one of these Ministry of Agriculture Scotch bonnets. Thanks very much to Jamison for sending them to me. So, the MOA Scotch Bonnet. Cheers. That's absolutely fabulous. Sweet. Very fruity flavour. Almost like ripe peaches. It really is kind of peachy. And that's just delicious. Absolutely fantastic. Very juicy. So far it's not especially hot, but it is juicy. It keeps running down my throat. I keep having to make a sip noise. But the flavour on those is just fantastic. That's one of the best tasting peppers ever. The citrus aspect to it now is a little bit more orangey than lemon lime. You didn't get that in the smell, but in the flavour it's very much there. It doesn't taste like orange, but there's an aspect of the flavour that's orange-ish. In the same way that there's an aspect of the flavour that's peachish. It's very aromatic. And you know, in terms of heat, we're around about orange habanero level. Certainly no more than that. So the heat is very manageable, but it's a very nice part of the whole. The whole thing together is beautiful, beautiful flavour with a good thump of heat, but it's not hot enough to take the flavour away. So you've just got this continuing flavour in your mouth that's absolutely delicious. Those are just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Hard to know what else to say. They really are that good. Absolutely spectacular. So the heat's already peaked, it's on the way down again. As I say, it's very much like an orange hab in terms of heat. No more than that. And it comes along, it doesn't come along really quickly, but you know, it's not slow. But it's going away quite quickly. In the same way that an orange hab does. But in terms of flavour, there aren't very many peppers in the world that taste as good as that, as far as I'm concerned anyway. Very few. It's really clean. Even though it's aromatic, some of the aromatic aspects to some of the peppers can be a bit sort of cloying and unpleasant in the aftertaste. It's not the case with this one. It's just really clean and complex in terms of the flavour. Very, very clean chinense flavour. And the aftertaste is just as good as it was when you first put it in your mouth and chew it up. That's just beautiful. Yeah, without doubt one of the best peppers I've eaten this year, and I've eaten a few. So, the MOA Scotch Bonnet, Minister of Agriculture from Jamaica. The seeds were obtained by Steve 934, I believe, or similar anyway, on THP. And they've been distributed fairly widely, and if you want to grow those, they should be available to grow them. But if you're going to grow some Scotch bonnets, that's the one to grow. Those are fabulous. I mean, there's some good Scotch bonnets out there, don't get me wrong, but that one is just absolutely fantastic. I think I'm going to have a couple more. So this is Nigel Carter saying thanks very much for watching, and I'll be back again with a few more reviews in the near future. Thanks, and I'll see you later.